Yeah, top 5 tips. Key things are you need to fuel it up, you need to time it right, hydrate, practice, and have a good recovery meal. So they're the key sort of nutrition tips. To put it more into concept, what we mean by fuel it up is making sure that you're having regular meals that have got a good balance of carbohydrates, which should be 50% of your calories, so about half your plate should be full of slow releasing carbohydrates, plus good quality protein and fat, so there's good balanced meal. And timing it right, so not only is it regular meals, but thinking about particularly carbohydrates when you're running. So if you're going to plan to have a run at midday, you need to be making sure you have a good balanced meal with carbohydrates in the morning at about 8 o'clock. So that provides you with all the sort of the glucose and glycogen in your system by the time you go and run at midday. If you find that you end up having a meeting that comes into play and suddenly you're thinking, oh my goodness, that breakfast isn't going to tide me over to that run in the afternoon, then you need to think about having something that's more easily digestible in terms of carbohydrate, low fat, low fibre, 1 or 2 hours before you run. So again, you're keeping those energy levels topped up so you are on peak performance for that running session. Hydration really important, because actually dehydration affects you far long before glycogen depletion. So we've been talking about carbohydrate and how important that is, but fluid actually can decrease your performance long before glycogen depletion. So you need to be making sure that you're drinking regularly throughout the day, as well as making sure you have good hydration levels before a run and during it. And a good way to make sure that you're monitoring your hydration levels is to have a look at the colour of your urine and making sure it's a nice pale colour for most of the time actually that you're doing running or drinking throughout the day, in terms of keeping you well hydrated. You should be trying out all your strategies during your training rather than turning up on race day and thinking that you're going to try and have a double espresso in the morning because you've heard it means you'll last longer out on the run, or you're going to try jelly beans during your run for extra carbohydrate. Your body actually does better when it knows what it's going to get, so you need to practice all these nutrition strategies during your training so that on race day you don't have anything to think about. You know that you've done the work and you can just start to get on and enjoy the run. Just to help keep those glycogen levels topped up for any activity where you're doing runs over 90 minutes, you need to make sure that you're having a good recovery meal that includes carbohydrate and protein within an hour after your exercise. So for some people it may mean that you're taking on board sort of isotonic drink for your carbohydrate, and then a yogurt or something to get your protein. Other people find that they can have a big normal meal within that hour, and that's just as good. But again, to be aware that optimising your recovery means having carbohydrate and protein within an hour after your run.